Hello Year 2 students, my name's Ella and welcome to lesson 26. I'm glad you could make it. So what do we need today? We will need 2 dice, some paper to fold, our learning book and of course something to write with. Oh, and our collection, that will help us with our numeracy. Let's recap lessons 21 to 25. First of all, we looked at the commutative property of addition. So we can have 5 plus 2 makes 7, or 2 plus 5 makes 7. Okay, so we can see that that's a beautiful relationship when we look at our addition sentences. Not only that, we had a look at bridge to 10 and bridge to 20. We found out that 9 plus 6 is the same as 10 plus 5, and it's a little bit easier to work out with our numbers. We had a look at doubles and near doubles. We know they're important and they're an easy way, an efficient and effective way to do our addition. We looked at partitioning numbers yet again to make tens and ones. 25 is 2 tens and 5 ones. And we put those together to help our addition as well. And remember, in our lessons, we often make it, draw it, and write it. And that's going to help us with our learning. All right, so great recap. Let's have a look at our warm-up. Today, I have the most wonderful number bead to show you. And this will help us learn our numbers in lots and lots of different ways. So we can see that we start with 1 and we have collections of 10, but let's just check. We'll count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. Double check. 2 lots of 5. So we have 1 lot of 10 to start with, and I wonder just how long my number bead is. So let's do some counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Oh, look, it's going to go past that magical number. Here we get to 100, but I can see some more. It's going, still going. Let's have a think. I'm going to add 20 more, 2 lots of 10, to my 100. What answer do we have? 100, 110, 120. What a wonderful number bead we have to play with in our number talks for the next few lessons. Okay, that's what 120 looks like. Right, let's get to our learning intention for today. Today's learning intention is we're going to find the difference between 2 amounts, and we'll know we can find the difference when we're able to describe what that looks like. Sometimes we're looking for a gap between things, and there's lots of words we use to describe the difference between things we can find near us. Let's have a look at some things I have found. I found 2 photos. And I can describe the difference between these 2 photos with old and new, older or newer. And we have 2 different balls here, and we can see lots of differences in these balls. You might see differences in colour, but I can see a difference in size, and we would describe these as bigger, smaller. So we can see that they're different. Okay, let's keep going because there's lots of differences. I wonder if you can work out how we might describe these 2 items. One is heavy and one is light, so heavier or lighter. Okay, you might think of some other ways to describe these 2 that tell us the difference. Okay, some beautiful ribbons. 2 different colours, but I can also see 2 different lengths. So we can see this as shorter and longer. Okay, Some beautiful shells from the seaside. How might we describe these? We have less or fewer or more and greater. So we're making sure that we can see the difference between these collections. Let's begin the lesson looking at some apples and lemons. Lots of differences here. I can see I have, by subitizing, 3 apples. I can also see I have 5 lemons. So, there's lots of different ways to describe these differences, but let's have a look at the gap and put a value on the gap. And I've been able to make that with my Unifix cubes. You can make these with whatever you have near you. So I can see that I have 5 lemons and 3 apples. Let's write this down as a bar model. Okay, so I am going to put my 5 and 3. 5 and 3. Okay, 5 and 3. So I now can work out what my gap is. What's missing here? 5 and 3. You've got it. It's 2. Very simple, but what we're doing is we're looking for the gap. We're looking for the difference, and that's going to help us a little bit later on. So let's have a look at another quick model. Here we have a green and an orange, but how many? Let's have a think. 2, 4, 6 and 1. 2, 4, 6 and 1, 7 and 2, 4. Okay, 7 and 4. So let's put this down. Remember, we're looking for the gap. So let's have a look, see what that looks like on a bar model. We had the longest Unifix cube as 7, and we had 4. 4 here. So what's the gap? What's the difference between these two numbers? 7 and 4. What's the gap? You're right, there's 3 here. So I can see the difference between 5 and 3 is 2, and I can see the difference between 7 and 4 is 3. Now it's time to do your own collections and look at the difference between them. So you've seen my 2, you might like to write that in your learning book. You can see how we've done that, the larger amount, the smaller amount, and the difference. Let's have a look. You might have some marbles. Let's have a look and make a collection. So remember, we're making a larger collection and a smaller collection, and writing the value, the difference. And we're looking at the gap between those two. So I'd like you to do that in your learning books now, at least 3, or maybe fill up a page where we're looking at difference between amounts. Okay, let's think about the reflection now. Today we've been able to find the difference between two numbers by using 2 different collections and looking at a bar model to help us structure our thinking. So well done for having a go at the difference between amounts. Now let's have a think about our takeaway task today. Remember, I asked you to have some paper to fold and 2 dice to play with. Okay, today we're going to play What's the Difference game. That's why we need the 2 dice. So let's get our game board ready, and let me show you. It's very similar to when we made our doubles chart. So you might remember that we have a piece of paper and we fold it long ways, lengthways, 1 fold, 2 folds, 3 and 4, just like our double chart. So we're going to end up with a fold down the middle and 8 different sections. We're getting very good at being crafty. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to set up our game board. Not us versus them this time round. I'm actually going to pick myself and a friend. So my name and a friend's name. And I'm going to write some numbers down each side. Let me show you because I've made one already. This one is Ella versus my friend Sanjay. Okay, so you can see I've written my name, my friend's name, and the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now we've got our game board ready. We're going to have to put 2 counters on each number. That's part of the game. So any collections of things you can find there, I'm going to put either side. It won't matter what colours I have. I'm going to put 2 counters either side of my numbers for myself and my friend Sanjay. You might have a friend with you right now. It doesn't matter. My friend Sanjay is not here with me, but I am going to play a game against him and I'm going to tell him who was victorious at the end. So here we go. I'm going to roll 2 dice. And I have come up with a 5 and a 3. What's the difference between 5 and 3? Oh, I've still got it on the board. 5 and 3, the gap between 5 and 3 is 2. So I can remove a counter, take away a counter from my side of 2. All right, Sanjay's turn. Sanjay, oh, nice work, Sanjay. A 6 and a 6. What's the difference between 6 and 6? What an interesting mathematical idea we have here. What's the difference? Well, they're the same. So we're going to have to think of 0. 0 is the difference. There is no difference here. So Sanjay, you can take off a counter from your 0. All right, and away we go again. I think you might remember this from Cross the Road. If I get the same one more than once, 3 and 3, I'll take away the 0. I just missed my turn. So I've got to get all of mine off my side before Sanjay gets all of them off his side. What's the difference, game? Have fun, do your learning, and I will see you next lesson. Bye.